Have you ever sat in complete silence and still felt like the noise inside your heart wouldn't stop? Like everything around you was falling apart, and the only thing that could save you was a whisper from heaven? You've tried advice, you've tried comfort from people, but nothing seems to reach the storm inside. Sometimes, all we need is one thing: God's voice. Because when life is falling apart, when hope is running out, His voice becomes the only light left. This message is for you if you've been silently crying, waiting, longing, desperate for one word from above. So pause, take a breath, and lean in close, because hope begins where His voice is heard. There are storms in life that don't show up on weather reports. They live in your mind, in your chest, in those quiet hours where you feel the weight of the world pressing on your heart. You pray, but the answers feel delayed. You cry, but no one sees. You wonder if God is still speaking, or if you've drifted too far to hear. But deep inside, your soul still whispers, "Speak, Lord, your voice is my only hope." And that whisper, that's not weakness. That's faith fighting to survive. You're not alone in the storm. Even when it feels like everything is crashing, there's a peace that only comes from His voice. Stay still. Stay soft. His voice is not in the chaos. It's in the quiet. And the storm will answer to it. It's hard when heaven feels silent. You pray, but the sky doesn't move. You ask for signs, but only get stillness. And slowly, the silence begins to feel like absence. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I miss Him? Is He even there? But listen, God's silence is not abandonment. Sometimes He's quiet because He's building something deeper in you. Sometimes He's letting your roots grow strong in the waiting. And the silence is not empty. It's sacred. Because when you finally hear His voice again, you'll recognize it not with your ears, but with your heart. So don't run from the silence. Rest in it. Because even in the quiet, God is near. There was a boy in the Bible named Samuel. He was young, still learning, still searching. One night, as he lay down in the temple, he heard a voice calling his name, "Samuel." He thought it was Eli the priest, but Eli said, "I didn't call you." It happened again and again, and finally, Eli understood. It was God speaking. So Samuel responded with the words that would shape his entire life. "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." That one moment changed everything. Samuel became a prophet, a leader, a voice for God's people. And it all started because he learned to listen. In your waiting, your confusion, maybe that's your prayer too. Speak, Lord. Your voice is my only hope. If Samuel could hear God in the quiet, so can you. Anxiety has a voice too. It tells you you're not enough. It screams your past mistakes, your failures, your fears. It keeps you up at night with questions you can't answer. But there is another voice, one that calms the chaos, one that says, "Peace, be still." It's not loud, but it's powerful. It doesn't argue, it heals. And that voice is the voice of Jesus. When everything else is shouting, you need His whisper. Not more noise, more truth. Not louder thoughts, a stiller soul. And that begins the moment you say, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening." Let His voice calm what nothing else can reach. Let's begin today with a deep breath and a deep surrender. Lord, this day is yours. I give you my heart, my mind, and every broken place inside me. Speak to me, God, even if it's just a whisper. Let me feel you near. Wash away the noise of fear, the lies of shame, the weight of worry. Remind me that your voice is my compass, my strength, my hope. When the world is loud, let your peace be louder. When I feel alone, remind me I'm surrounded by your love. This morning, I don't need perfect answers. I just need your presence. Speak, Lord. I am listening, because I know one word from you can change everything. Amen. Maybe you're tired of holding it together, tired of pretending you're okay, tired of hoping things will change, and you've reached the end of your strength. But that's where grace begins. Not when you're strong, but when you finally admit you're weak. Because when you stop striving, you can start listening. God doesn't need your perfection. He wants your honesty. He's not waiting for a polished prayer, just a real one. When you say, God, I can't do this anymore, He says, I know, let me take over. And it's in that surrender that you'll hear the gentle voice of God again. So don't give up now. Hold on just a little longer. Help is coming. Hope is whispering. Can you hear it? In a world full of rushing and scrolling and noise, listening has become rare. But that's where the miracles begin. God doesn't compete with distractions. He waits for stillness. You don't need a perfect environment to hear Him, just a willing heart. Put the phone down, turn the music off, close the door, and just sit with Him. He wants to speak to you, not just about your pain, but about your purpose. Not just about your mistakes, but about your calling. But if your life is too full of noise, you might miss the whisper that could have changed everything. Be still, not to escape the world, but to hear the one who holds it in His hands. Because when His voice becomes your anchor, no storm can shake you. If this message stirred something deep inside you, don't ignore it. This might be the moment you've been praying for, a reminder that God is still speaking and you can still hear Him. Make it your mission today to pause and say, Speak, Lord. Your voice is my only hope. Let that be your prayer, your focus, your heart's cry. And if this message helped you, share it with someone who needs it too. Because someone you love is drowning in silence, and your voice might lead them back to His. Subscribe to Daily Jesus Voice to stay rooted in truth and daily encouragement. And remember, even when all else fails, one whisper from heaven can bring you back to life. Stay soft, stay listening. Hope is near.